Okay, so now that we have the data available to us, the conflict data that we wrangled in the last lesson, we can go ahead and map it. And remember that our plan is to make a map of conflict events with markers and pop-ups. The markers are going to show where the events occurred in Yemen. Our country case is Yemen. And then the pop-ups are going to give some additional information on those events, namely the date that they occurred and the number of battle deaths. Okay, so to do this, we're going to use the leaflet package for R. Leaflet is a really popular JavaScript library for making interactive maps. And so that's what we're going to be using in this lesson. We're going to start off with a really simple toy example where we're just going to plot one conflict event, and then we're going to go ahead and map the data that we wrangled for Yemen, the 80-some conflict events for January and February of 2021. All right, so that's the plan. Let's go ahead and get started. So we can just write, let's make a hypothetical map of one conflict event. All right, and we'll go ahead and put a code chunk in here. And we can label that. All right, and we can call or load our leaflet library. That's the first step. And then we will call leaflet with no arguments this time, because we're just going to do this one hypothetical event. So no arguments, add tiles, okay? And what this is going to do is going to add the default OpenStreetMap map tiles into our leaflet map. So add tiles, and then we're going to pipe that into add markers, and this is where we can tell leaflet where we want our one marker, okay? So longitude, and we're going to put that at 45.46916, all right? And this is going to show up somewhere in Yemen. Latitude equals 14.14912, labeled, and we're going to have the label be for this marker. The label is going to be first conflict event, so that when we hover over it, we're going to see the words first conflict event, okay? So, oh, and there is a typo here. I put lat equals twice. All right, so let's try that again. Okay, and there we go. There's our one marker, first conflict event. Again, completely fictional example. And we can just keep zooming out, right? And we can see where that occurred, right, in Yemen. All right, so building on that then, now we can plot some conflict events. Let's plot some conflict events in Yemen in 2021, all right? And we'll use the data that we just wrangled in the last lesson for that. Label it Yemen map, and then from there we'll go ahead and code it up. So this time we're going to call leaflet again, but we're going to use an argument, data equals, to get the data that we wrangled from the last time that's stored in this object GED_Yemen into the map. Okay, so that's the first thing we're going to do. And then we'll do add tiles again. We'll use the default tiles from OpenStreetMap. And then we're going to set our view to the coordinates of Sana'a, which is the capital of Yemen. Okay, and those are longitude 44.1910, latitude 15.3694, and we'll set the zoom at 6. So this way, every time our map loads, it's gonna load with Sana'a at the center, and then a certain amount of area around it. And to get the right, view, you have to play around these parameters a little bit, like the zoom, or maybe you want it to be centered a little left of the capital or to the right, north or south. But we're going to use these parameters for now. And then what we'll do is in our add markers call, or add markers function, we'll use pop-up equals, and since we loaded the data in here, now we can use variables from the data in our markers, add markers call down here. And the way we do that is we use a one-sided formula. So you start with a tilde, and then we're going to take, in the pop-up, we're going to have the number of deaths to start. In this first example, we're going to use just the number of deaths. But we want that to be a character because this is HTML. So right now it's in numeric format, so we have to turn it into character format. So we'll do as.character deaths. All right. And then for our label, which is what it says when we hover over it, we're going to do at place, which is the location of our event, right? That where coordinates variable that we wrangled, that we talked about in the last lesson. All right, so let's go ahead and try that and see what happens. And it didn't like that. I put add tile, and it should be add tiles. Oh, and it didn't like that. Making too many mistakes here. GED_Yemen. Okay, and there we go. Now we have our map with the markers and the pop-ups, and we can see the names of the places where the conflict events occur, and we can go ahead and zoom in closer. And then if we click on these, it'll tell us the number of events that happened in that place, either in that village, town, countryside, surrounding area, what have you. Okay, so that's it. That's how you make the a leaflet map. And from here, what we're going to work on in the next lesson is how to customize this a little bit more, how to add more information into the pop-ups, how to change the icon style, and how to adjust the base map. See you there.